Whenever there's any discussion in Australia about anything to do with nuclear, be it medicine or power generation or indeed submarines, one question always pops up. What do we do with the waste? Now, we don't have a central waste storage facility in this country, and there is a long and torrid history associated with that, but there is nuclear waste being produced, being processed and indeed stored in corners of the country. And that's why we're here today at the Lucas Heights facility in Sydney's south, one of the biggest storage facilities currently in the country, dealing with low and intermediate waste like what's behind me well into the future. So Paula, this is sort of point one in our tour today. Talk us through what's actually coming through here on its way into Anstow, what sort of waste we're seeing in this spot.
So Anstow has a very broad range of activities that it undertakes. We operate the Opal reactor, we produce nuclear medicines, and we have a very broad research activity base. So there's a lot of radioactive waste that's generated from these activities, and most of it is actually low-level solid waste. A lot of the waste is the sort of things that you would see in a typical lab. So it could be things like gloves or maybe some glassware, things that become contaminated in the day-to-day operations that we want to be able to check, characterise, analyse and then decide what waste stream it needs to end up in. Capacity is certainly one of the things that is front of mind for us, so we measure it and monitor it very closely. This is one of our two buildings that hold these red drums, and actually we've got almost 10,000 of them from the entire operations of Anstow and its predecessor that have spanned over 70 years now. We think we have capacity until around about 2040, until we really need to start having extra buildings to be able to manage the incoming waste past that time.
So Paula, this is more of the serious side of things in what you're actually keeping here at Lucas Heights. We've seen the low level waste. This is the intermediate waste that's come from your old reactors?
Yeah, so the fuel that powered the HIFAR reactor was reprocessed overseas. Some of it went to France and some of it went to the UK. And what we see before us is the reprocessed spent fuel residues stored inside two purpose-built storage and transport casks that we call TN81 canisters.
So these are incredibly thick, reinforced sort of holding tubes, for want of a better phrase?
Absolutely. They are designed to hold high-level waste. So they are for our intermediate level waste that we have at Anstow. They are very, very safe. While Australia has a very important role in the nuclear space, we are comparatively small and we certainly don't have the infrastructure or really the need or desire to install what is a very large reprocessing facility here. So it makes sense for us to have those international agreements so that we can send this overseas to the experts where they can reprocess it and send us back an equivalent.